Guys, do you have any questions regarding yesterday's session?
No, sir.
Okay, great. Guys, today we are going to discuss about badge of processing. So this is also important topic. So generally, so when you go for this type of badge of processing, sometimes use cases are getting like this. Generally, in our earlier examples, we seen only one record insertion at a time, right? Suppose I want to insert 1,000 records at a time, right? So they want to hit batch by batch actually. So each batch, thousand records at a time. So they want to insert it. So that time we'll go for batch or processing. So there is a facility in the Mulesoft. So they introduce one component that is nothing but batch. Okay. So use cases like this, guys. Exactly use cases. So we need to take the data from the database. Okay. So we need to talk with the database, one of the database. So we need to fetch the records from that. So that too, it's based on the date, guys. So the date, it's kind of incremental load actually. You can say it's an incremental load. Suppose based on the date, so based on today's date, so every day, so some other system, so the dump data into the database. Okay, what we need to do, so based on particular date, so we need to trigger our job. So there is no manual interaction in this, guys. So according to our poll, last time we discussed about poll component, right? Poll and one more component also there, guys, for automatic uh, pulling actually. So it's kind of job schedule actually. So there is a quench component as well as poll components. Two components are there. So using these two components, can try to pull the data from the database or else whatever the logic it is. But so the flow get initiated actually. So based on that quench job or else poll job. Okay. So what we need to do here, based on the date, our Mulesoft will pull the record. So for that purpose, for automatic purpose, there is a two components. One is pool component. You people are already aware of that. Another one is quad job. There is a job schedule actually. In this, we can pass that cron job expression. I will tell you what is my cron job expression and all. So as a middleware, we need to pull the data from the database. So then, so based on the date, guys, suppose today's date. So the dump today, some 1,000 records dump into the database. What we need to do based on the date, okay, we need to pull the 1,000 records. So then we need to dump into the some SFTC or else some service hub is one of the portal, guys. They dump into the service hub. That we need to take care. Service hub people, they exposed as a API. Okay, so it's kind of a web service. So web service they exposed. So in Mulesoft we can consume it, right? Using web service consumer component, we can consume it. Whatever the records we are getting from the database, we can dump into the, we can push into the records into the service hub API. But here challenging thing is, suppose here now I am fetching records from the database based on today's date. Okay, so this is everyday polling job, everyday job actually. Now today job is done based on today's date. I am fetching the data, so that is done. So tomorrow again, so this will trigger, right? So accordingly we need to set it actually. There is a poll mechanism every day should trigger, like that we can set it. There is no manual interaction, that automatically fire that action. So then that flow will execute according to that logic. It will go to the database. So then it will fetch the again records, guys. But what here thing is, challenging thing is, but whatever the existing record should not come, guys. Whatever the latest record, so whatever the today's record, we should get it actually. Understood, right? So that is the challenge. Why? Because So total might be in the database, the table contains lakhs of records, but we should not target the lakhs of records. Whatever the updated records, whatever the latest record, might be old record also they updated might be. So, but based on that source date got changed, right? So that is today's date, right? So like that we have to get it right. We should not get old records. Whatever the latest record we should get, right? That is a challenging thing. So that we need to handle in the quad or else pole job here itself. So then every day we dump into the service now. It's kind of, data sync up, we can say. I can say data sync up. That is nothing but an incremental load kind of use case. Another one is database to database migration, guys. This is also, so we can use this type of badge of processing. Here if you see database to database migration, suppose so earlier the legacy database is some old database like MySQL. Okay, so I want to dump the data into the Cassandra. Okay, Cassandra, some Hadoop high visibility databases, right? So I want to dump that existing database data into the latest database, that is an NoSQL database. So if you see here somewhat there are difference between this normal structured database and then unstructured database or semi-structured, guys. If you see Cassandra and Hadoop HBase systems, so they are it's a semi-structured or it's unstructured database. But here if you see MySQL, Oracle, and then so some other databases, right? So they are a structured database actually. So we need to migrate that existing data into the, so this NoSQL databases migration. So that time what happen? So we need to use this type of middleware. Okay, whatever the data fetching from the database, we need to do some modification in the middleware because of here some return types are different. Here also some return types are different, right? So here data length is different. Here data length is that type of things we need to handle in the middle. Then once data getting from the pulling from the database, existing database, we have to dump it to the latest database, guys. So via Mulesoft. So that is also one more scenario actually. Okay, so this type of use cases will go for batch job processing, guys. Okay, now so let's see the POC on that. How will exactly what was that batch job processing and all? How was what was the component it is? What was the parts in the component? What was the configuration it is? I will explain that part. Where it is. Okay. See this, guys, I'm trying to explain the badger first. After that we'll say quads and pole anyway you people are aware. So I already created the flow, so but for explanation purpose I'm drag and drop once again the batch. Okay, so these are batch component, guys. You can see the palette, so just type for batch. Okay, so in the batch in the batch totally three parts are there, guys. This is a batch job actually. So first part is input, second part is process records, under the process record, so we can give it a multiple steps actually. Batch step 1 2 3 like that. So then finally on complete, guys. So there is totally three parts under the batch. First one is input, so we'll get ready for input to process the records. So right, so that is the input part. But here thing is, so so always this batch job is allow the util object guys. Java.util object is the it's nothing but a collection object. So it always expect input as a collection. That time only we'll go for batch job, right? So here is the thing. So we'll get the data from the database. We'll obviously will get the collection object, right? So that is nothing but a list you will get. Under that list, each object you will consider as a that is nothing but a map, right? So that time only we have to use this type of batch job concept. We'll get a list of records. So that we have to prepare under input guys. You can keep it a flow reference. In the flow reference we create a flow, then we create that records, or else you can directly keep it implement in flow itself. So input location itself, we can drag and drop the components in the input. So once that is done, so input is ready, so that should be in the form of collection object. So after that, process records guys. In the process records we can keep the multiple steps also. Suppose first I want to look into the CRM application or also whatever other databases, that record is already existing or not. So that first step I want to check it. So we can keep the batch step one. We can look into that record is existing or not. If the record is existing, we should ignore it. If the record is not there, we should insert it. So second step, we can take it. So if the record is not there, we can insert it. So that is batch step 2. We can keep it batch step 2. So then on finally on complete, so we can give the result actually. How many records are processed successfully? How many records are processed failure, right? Failure records we can give it. So that status by default batch job will take care to give the successful records and then failure records guys. Okay, so that is the thing actually. I will try to explain the below flow I already created. Just remove this. Yeah, so see this guys, in this I am trying to talk to the database. Okay, so before that, this is my flow actually. Here I just keep it as a HTTP connector. I will show you other one also, pole connector also. So in the HTTP connector means there is a human interaction. So we should hit the request. Once you hit the request based on this address, then it will jump to the batch job insertion check batch something. I kept it name, you can keep it anyway, any name because of name convention. So here is the thing guys, what was the component it is? So that is nothing but here one of the component is called batch execute guys, nothing but execute. So this is the use of execute batch job element you can say. So what it will happen, whatever the batch you created at the bottom in or else in this application, so it will we should trigger. So based on this batch execute guys, if you see here how it is look like, it is almost look like a flow reference guys. If you see here what I'm trying to show here, so the batch job. So whatever the batch jobs are available in your application, the list of batch jobs will get in a drop down. So what I'm trying to do is I just drag and drop batch job execute. In the batch job execute, so configuration, I just showing that so batch job location. Okay. So based on that, it's like a flow reference guys. What it will happen if you use a flow reference, in the flow reference we have to mention the one of the subflow, right? So that time what happen, whenever the request come to the flow reference, it will jump to that particular subflow or else private flow you can say. So here also same thing. So once request come to the batch execute, so based on whatever the job you mentioned here, it will jump to that job. It will go to the database here. So what I'm trying to do in database here, I was entering the configuration here. I'm fetching the records from the one of the table. So before that, the backend data should be there, right? So this is my database configuration and this is my table. I'm trying to fetch the records from the table. Okay, so might will get multiple records, but in this case I just enter only two records in my database. I'm fetching the two records. I'm trying to push it. So this is input location guys, you can see under input. So there is a database and then log. Once database connection happened, it will pull the records. Okay, then I'm trying to display in the logger also um, for the purpose of server logs, right? So next one is next step guys, process records. So here what I'm trying to do it. So I told you right in this case. These people exposed as a service now people exposed as that is one of the tool guys. That is one of the interface actually. So there is a GUI. Okay. So you can say any external system. I just keep it as a service now. So we can keep it any external system like CRM application like Salesforce or else SAP, whatever it is. So here they exposed as a API, right? So we need to consume that API. They exposed as a SOAP API. So for that purpose, I used web service consumer guys. So these are web service consumer. We already discussed about this SOAP and REST related thing. So see the configuration here. So this is my configuration here. So they exposed as a what WSDL, right? Because that is a SOAP API. So what I did, I took the WSDL file. Generally they shared as a URL guys. That you have to enter in the browser. You will get the WSDL. That WSDL I downloaded. I kept into the my location, my project location. I create a folder called WSDLs file, WSDLs. Under that WSDL, I just create a WSDL file location. Okay. Is it clear? So then after that, remaining value is automatically populated. You people are aware of, right? So I was showing the diagram clearly. When you keep it a visitor location, so these automatically populated service name, port number, and then address, guys. I will try to show this is a path, guys. So in the browse, we can keep it actually where it is under my project. Under my project, user sync up incremental. That is my project name. Under that SRC main resources Visual. Visual is a folder. Under that folder, I have multiple visuals are there, but I'm using create user visual. Okay, so we need to show that. So two things, guys. Either you want to keep it dynamic or else you want to keep it static. Then you can upload like this, or else you can keep it directly past the URL itself, right? That time what happened, whatever the changes happened there, no need to download that visual, no need to keep it in our code, right? So we can keep it directly URL itself. That is the thing. And one more thing, guys, if you see here, so here they exposed as a HTTPS, guys, right? It's a secure one, right? So that's why here, so they expected as a username password, guys. If it is a secure protocol, HTTPS you are using it. If you HTTP, no need to enter the basic authentication and all. But here it's a HTTPS secure one. So they share the URL, username and password also, guys. No need to bother about that. So once whatever the information they share, we need to keep it here where it is. In general, we need to fill all the information about the digital file for security related things. So there is a reference is there. In the reference, there is a configuration called HTTP configuration reference. So click plus symbol. I already added. That's why I'm trying to edit it. So I'm in the edit. Okay. So see this, guys. What I mentioned here. HTTPS, whatever the host name, right? That host name I passed it, so the port number. Okay, host name you can see in the URL itself actually. So if you go to, I'm just closing this one also. Here itself you can see host name. This is a host name, right? So then we need to keep we can keep that host name. Under references, HTTP configuration reference, click edit. So here you can see host name, and then our protocol is secure one, right? HTTPS. I just passed it as so choose HTTPS, and then host name, and then port number I passed it. So next one is authentication, guys. Click the authentication. So there is a different types of authentication, guys. So whatever the authentication they gave, right? Generally in this case they will give username and password actually. That is nothing but a basic authentication. I just choose the basic authentication under the drop down and just pass the username and password, guys. That's it. Now, so we configure all the information related to that service of API. Okay, once that is working, so then we need to push our records, right? So generally, guys, whenever you start the requirement, right? So these people already shared that visual file, right? Shared that visual, or else you can say service, right? So generally we need to check using before starting your work, that is working or not. We need to check So that SOAP UI part, SOAP UI I was showing that. Keep it that visual file location, then execute there. So hit the request, it is working or not. So then we have to check the SOAP GUI guys. So then we can confidently implement in the Mulesoft itself if it is everything is working. So that way we have to start it guys while doing the requirement. First it is working or not, we need to check it because that is external system, right? Might be, suppose if it's not working, we are trying to keep on through Mule, so there is no use, right? So first we need to check it either Postman. If it is a REST filtered services, we need to use Postman. We need to check it before starting work. So if it is a SOAP related, so we have to use SOAP GUI, SOAP UI. So then we need to check it actually. After that, you can start it actually. Once they are working, so here also should work. Okay. Otherwise, it's kind of front and back kind of thing. You keep on trying, but it's not working. So that is a problem actually. So here is the thing actually. I filled all the information about the web service consumer. So then. That can able to connect it, but it was expecting some records, right? So here in this first case we prepare the records, so the records part is done. So now the list of records we are getting from the database. Now here the in this database parameters are different, in this web service consumer are different, right? Because they are all external system, their fields are different, our database maintenance fields are different, right? So that's why we need to use transform message guys. We already discussed about so many examples on the data wave. You can say data wave also, transform message also. What was the purpose of this? So we are getting a map guide. So from the database, who will give this payload and this output? So that will automatically come guys. No need to do in our side actually. So whenever you drag and drop the transform message or data wave between the database and the web service consumer concept, so that automatically populated guys. Why it is automatically populated? Only data sense, there is a concept called data sense guys. So whenever you drag and drop that transform before the web service consumer, so what was the expected fields, what was the expectation of service, so we can show here guys, automatically it will appear similarly after database. If you drag and drop the transform, right, that payload also will come automatically. Generally that day we discussed about we only created metadata, but in these two cases, only these two cases guys, one is database, another one is soap uh, REST API actually. Soap consuming, you can say that web service consumer. These two components have a data sense. So because of that, so in the transform automatically loaded guys. So now you can see clearly. So this is my input. This is my database fields. This is so service now API expected fields. So that's why here is the difference. Here is the difference. That's why I drag and drop it. So you people are aware of how to drag and drop it. Choose the field, choose that, so then you can drag and drop it actually. Suppose I want to drag and drop that postal address, select it and leave it on the right side field. It automatically generate the mapping. Okay, now that got generated guys. So you can see it actually. So in this case what are the parts are available? First data wave 1.0, so there is a version of your data wave. So next one is output guys. Output is application slash XML. We are expecting always output as XML. You can keep it whatever the output you want. So that is a conversion guys. Transform will take care of that conversion as well as validations also, right? So here I just keep it as one keyword, that skip null on equal everywhere. So means what I'm trying to say here. So any null value will get it, just ignore it. I'm saying actually that is a keyword we're talking about. So next one is namespace guys. So this is the namespace actually. So where we'll get the namespace? So we discussed about that namespace actually. So there is an option called target namespace in the WSDL file. We can search for the search with the name of target namespace in the WSDL. So that will come guys. I'll try to search for the same thing here. I already keep that WSDL file in the local, right? So WSDLs, create WSDL. You can search for the target namespace here. So this is nothing but for this. See this guys, this is a target namespace actually. That's why I kept it as a namespace there. Okay, now, so this is my namespace here. So you can see here, this is a whole namespace. I just keep it as alias name actually. NS0 is nothing but alias name. So actually here the namespace is peg length, right? Every time, so no need to write that one. I just keep it as alias name. So then, so that one here I'm mentioning ns hash u underscore first name, last name, all the fields related to service number API. So this is our database related fields. Then we are fetching the data from the database, right? We are mapping to the service number API fields. You understood, right? So that is the thing here, guys. I'm just trying to pull the records from the database. I'm just processing the records into the process records in the batch job. So here in this, what happened here? So it will take the records from whatever the records coming here. It will convert it one by one record. It will push into the web service consumer. Once that is done, insertion is done, what I'm trying to do it will return some other data. So that's why I'm trying to convert into DOM to XML. So exact XML format. So here what happened, I just I can see it's a process successfully or not. That response also we can see. Okay. So then finally on complete also I'm just displaying the response with all the records. Okay, so it will show clear metrics also, guys. So that internal part actually no need to do anything from our end. So it will give the successful record, how many successful records will get in that batch flow, how many failure records also, that will give metrics. So we'll see that. Okay, I'm trying to execute this. Let's see. Debug as main application. Okay, successfully deployed. So this we need to hit it, guys, because I kept it as a HTTP connector here. So let's see other one also how automatically will do. Okay, so request for hit outflow. Next one is building. So see here, guys, from the database I'm getting so two records. You can see here also. You can see the payload. Payload size is 2 we are getting. In the payload we have see, so top level is it's a kind of list, right? It's a list. Under that each record is nothing but a map, you can say. So I got the record, two records from the database. So I'm trying to go next level. See here, guys, it's come to the transform message means under badge job. Click next. Okay, you can see the result, guys. I'm trying to show the result. You can see here, guys. So what happened here, what the result you are getting, status is updated, guys, successfully updated. You can see this. So total record is, I'm just copying this and I'm validating. Okay, observe the result guys. So display name is name, then display value, and then status guys. Status is updated because they are responding back guys with the result. So that is nothing but updated that record. So you can see it once again. Again second record guys. Okay, the second record also mostly success. So we'll see the result guys. We see clear result actually in the logger itself. So this whatever this is I displayed actually. So database records, and then after web service complete consumer done. If you see other than this, after web service consumer done, two times came back because it two records. So other than that, so these people will give by default actually. Your job will take care of that part. So if you see here, so total records got 2, successful records 2, and failed records 2. I didn't done anything guys for that. So they will give the metrics actually, how many successful records happened, how many failure records happened. They will share that things actually. Okay, you can see loaded also, loaded to records kind of message also will see. See, here is the thing actually. So this got started and then loaded how many records? 2 records got loaded. So you can see actually these are all the messages will coming from the batch job itself. So any questions guys about this, about batch job processing? So there's a three parts guys totally in this. So these two are optional guys. First part is an optional, you can keep it or else you can ignore it. So second part is on complete, that is also optional. So third part on complete is also optional, but mandatory part is process records guys. So that is a logic, right? So that should be their process records. The remaining two are optional. So any questions as of now? Okay, hope no questions. So next one guys, so how to keep it so automatic thing. I will try to show that part also. See here guys, this is my flow again, same flow. What I'm trying to do here. So I just keep it a poll component guys. Previously HTTP component, after that HTTP component. So there is a batch of execute. I just drag and drop the batch of execute. So that should got triggered guys, right? So but here I just keep it a poll connector guys. So just search for the poll in the poll component in the palette, just drag and drop it. So what was the configuration of the poll here? I'm trying to open the poll component. See this guys, this is a configuration of the poll. Here what was the scenario guys, our scenario. Here we already discussed about there is a concept called object store guys. So what was the purpose of the object store? So we can store the message in the some certain time actually, right? So for that purpose we can use the object store. So that day we discussed about transaction ID, right? If you are getting multiple transaction ID, right, with the same value, so then we can keep it a duplicate transaction ID, right? Before that we have to store the transaction ID into the object store. So that time it can able to identify. Next time it will throw. If you try with same transaction ID, it will throw error like duplicate transaction ID. So here also same thing as object store. If you see here, I'm giving the polling frequency as a dynamic, right, from the external properties file. It will pick it up. You people are aware of environment specific, right? So this is picking from the environment properties file, the full frequency. So here I kept it as a time unit as a milliseconds. You can keep it as a wish. I mean based on your requirement, days, hours. So every day it should fire, or else every 10 hours it should fire, or else every milliseconds it should fire, or else seconds, minutes. Based on that we have to keep it actually. I just keep it as a milliseconds guys. Every 1000 milliseconds. So that is nothing but a 1 second you can keep it. So it should trigger. So that's why by default milliseconds only. I choose this as a millisecond. So next one is here, there is a watermark guys. You can see the enable watermark. Here what I'm trying to do is, I just create one variable, nothing but a create user query date type guys. So that I'm calculating in the from expression, default expression, that is a server date time zone, so GMT dot format, that is a format of that, and then I'm trying to convert into the string. So if people are aware of this syntax, right, is a mail expression only. So what I'm trying to do it, so from the server we are trying to fetch the data server type, right? So after that server time I'm trying to convert into the time zone as a GMT, and then so that is a format of that. Okay, so next one is update expression, guys. So flow whereof a lost job data. So what I'm trying to do here, so I told you about that based on the date it should fire, it should fetch the records from the based on the data, right? So if you observe here, so what I'm trying to do is once your transaction is done, okay, suppose so today 1000 records dumped, tomorrow might be again records will come, right? So today your job is done, while running tomorrow it should not fetch yesterday's records. So that was my target actually. So that's why what I did, once your whole flow executed, so once you whole flow executed, then it will come here, right? So this is what batch execute. It will go here, it will execute whole things. Finally, it will come to the after batch execute, right? So here I created one last job date time variable. I keep it one variable, right? So in the variable I defined what was the flow execution flow end time I captured it, guys. Understood, right? Once you flow done, we have captured the time. So we are updating this time into the poll actually. So what was the name of that? Last job date time variable. So go to your poll component. See here, guys. This is the one I'm trying to update it, right? So initially create user query date time. So they created the time like this. I'm trying to override that update expression flow as of last step job date time. So based on the time, what happened, the time will get updated, right? So once your process is done, we are creating a record time actually, right? So the time we are capturing in the poll component. So this time what happened, whatever the time you are getting, that time you have to keep it into the database, guys. That not in done that part actually. Here we can keep it that variable actually. Select star from where table where that whatever the field in that table source date is greater than last job running time, guys. If you keep it like this, it will ignore the existing record, it will fetch the whatever the latest record, right? So that latest records we can fetch, guys. Is it clear, guys? So that is about poll connector actually. Using that poll, what happened, so whole thing is automatically every day, so that 1000 milliseconds it will automatically keep on firing action. Then any records are available, you can just take the new records, you can dump it actually. In this case I just shown only 2 records, but in real time you can have 1000 2000 lakhs of records we have. So any questions, guys? Okay, so that is about poll actually. So we'll see the quad also. What is the use of quad job processing? So that is also, it's look like a similar only quad job also, but some other extra features are there, and then so that is the first difference actually. Some more extra features are there, and then extra features in the sense there is a cron expression, all these things are there. So another difference is here you can use poll connector only in the inbound, guys. That is nothing but a starting point, right? You can say it's a source location. You can always use only inbound connector, but whereas in quads you can use outbound connector also, guys. Okay, so we'll try to show that example of this. Just I'm showing simple example, guys. Only quad job, that one. After that we can enhance the flow actually. I'm not writing whole flow, I just write only quad job connector. So you can search for quad job connector in this palette, guys. Quad. So there's a quad job actually. Just drag and drop the quad here. It will come here. And this coming to the configuration, you can see, guys, almost similar to the whole job only. So here we can mention so time. So repeat interval time actually. 0 hours. I just as of now I kept it as a 0 hours, 0 minutes, 30 seconds. So and then repeat count also you can mention it, guys. So there is a 10 times I mentioned the 10 times. Okay. So what it will happen actually. So every 30 seconds it will try to trigger the flow, right? So then whatever the logic you written, that logic will execute it every time until 10 times, right? So that you have to mention the job here, what job it is. Nothing is there, right? Just what I mentioned. That's okay. So this cron expression I will explain actually. Cron expression means, so here is the different thing actually. Repeat interval is you can mention like this. Okay, hours, minutes, and then seconds, and then repeat count also you can mention, and if there any delay you can mention. So coming to the cron expression, so cron expression is nothing but there is a regular expressions, regex. You people are aware of regular expression, right? Regex. So that you can pass that in the cron expression, guys. I will try to show the examples of the cron expression. See this, guys. This is a cron expression examples actually. If you see here, fire at 12 p.m. noon every day. These are expression, guys. You can pass that 0012 stop start question mark. If we keep it where we need to keep it under cron expression, guys. If we keep it here, what happen? So every day it will trigger so that 12 p.m. noon every day. So below one is fire at 10:15 a.m. every day. You can keep it like this. So these are the some of the examples are there, guys. So you can keep it. We can prepare the cron expression accordingly. You can pass it actually. See, fire every 5 minutes, starting at 2 p.m. and ending with 2:55 p.m. every day. Have to pass like this. This is a cron expression actually. So it's kind of regular expression. You can keep it here. So the time what happen, your for job automatically trigger. So then it will work accordingly. Okay. Here I mentioned every 30 seconds, guys, until 10 times. I'm not doing anything. I'm just in the logger. I'm just displaying the quad trigger. Let's try to deploy this. How many times it will come? Okay, so got deployed and first time also it got trigger. See this, guys, first time trigger, watch trigger. Let's wait. So every 30 seconds it will trigger, guys. You can see second time also got trigger. Like that similar thing, guys, it will trigger until 10 times actually. We kept it as a, so repeat thing until 10 times, right? Count, repeat count. So that's why again third time. These are happened, guys. So here we can add enhancement flow, whatever the logic it is. To keep on, it will hit it, it will execute accordingly. So these are the cron expressions. So there's a for preparing this. So we need to learn some cron job related thing, guys. So we need to prepare accordingly cron job expression. These are the some of the examples frequently used cron expressions. If you want to prepare new one, we need to learn that some of that learning curve is there. How to prepare the cron expressions and all. So we need to learn it. We need to prepare it. See this seconds, minutes, hours, day, months. So what are the characters? What are the special characters are available? You can mention it actually. Okay, so that is about quads and this what full component, and then these guys there's a badge of processing. So we can use quad job in the output connector also, guys. See, but whereas in pole we can't use outbound connector, means endpoint you can say. Okay, so that is the difference actually, pole and quad. So any questions, guys? Any questions about this quad and then badge of processing? Okay, if no questions, we'll wind up the session, guys. Tomorrow we'll discuss about another topic, or else we'll see one use case, end-to-end use case. I will explain that whole use case. Okay, I will take one project. I will explain the end-to-end, whatever the whatever the previous sessions you used components. That all the components I will keep into that. So whole application I will explain that end-to-end application, guys. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.